If we're aware, like, all this stuff exists in narratives and stories that have been told for eons, and it's I think Star Wars is one of the best. Never underestimate the power of the dark side. The Jedi, the greatest Jedi, can become a Sith overnight if they haven't mastered certain elements of their shadow. And so shadow work, which is really learning your own wounds and your own subconscious, building a relationship with it, because we prefer, as beings, the personality prefers to be perceived through the gift. Whatever our spiritual gifts are, that's how we want to be perceived. And we hide the shadow because there's belief systems that it's whatever's there is unlovable. And we actually don't have a culture yet that says, hey, you're actually allowed to have a shadow. You've got wounds there that are actually lovable and deserve presence and care, and that we're each in a relationship with healing. And if we actually had a culture that made space for our emotions, unexpressed emotions, to be more included in our human experience, everyone would step out of this positioning of having to hide behind their spiritual gifts and actually come into more of their humanity and be in relationship around their humanity, which is where we all relate. This is where we neutralize the superior and inferior ego structures and be like, oh, dude, you're struggling with that and you're excelling in that. Man, I feel you. That shame is gnarly, right? Like, what are you ashamed of? Or like, you got grief here, or you got rage here. Like, all these things are not talked about. But shadow work brings them into connection in a way that if we can alchemize them, it doesn't have to come through this massive crisis or healing crisis or being derailed. I've seen people's businesses crash and burn because their whole business and identity was built on a compensation mechanism. They burnt out because they were avoiding a wound. Their whole business was a creation of one slice of emotional resistance. So when we do the shadow work, we go in and we dismantle those things ahead of time, so what you build on top of that becomes scalable, becomes sustainable. It's not avoiding a wound. It actually is in relationship with your wound. You're in relationship with your own subconscious. You're in relationship with the hidden part of you, and so it doesn't have the power to sneak up. The dark side can't just come in and overtake your reality suddenly because you're aware of it. You're actually in relationship with it.